Mindanao, Caraga, Western Visayas, Central Visayas, Southern Tagalog, reflecting the flashpoints of political unrest in areas of the highest economic exploitation and oppression, and with the highest counterinsurgency budget. Ngayon, ano yung sectoral background nila? It's hardly changed from the time of Rizal. Youth and students, trade unionists, human rights workers, long-time activists. Katulad nung asawa ko, si Vic Ladlad, na naka-detain sa Bikutan. Opposition figures like Laila de Lima, poor peasants in militarized areas. A growing number are indigenous peoples. O andito si Kafemia, Kulyamat ng Teuka Femia. O yan. Si Femia, 3 kamag-anak ay nakakulong. Mamaya, balikan natin yan. Ngayon, marami din sa kanila ay mga Moro na mga inaresto during crackdowns in Moro communities, and many political prisoners without any basis are linked to the CPP and the NPA. Ngayon, tingnan natin, ano ang legal infrastructure which breeds political prisoners in growing number? First, Memorandum Order 32, carry over from the time of Duterte, issued in November 2018 to suppress lawless violence and acts of terror in Bicol, Negros, Samar, remains in place with a broader counterinsurgency program. So is the more comprehensive Executive Order 70, issued in 2018 November, creating the powerful NTF-ELCA. Ano yung NTF-ELCA? It acts like a shadow government. Repeat, shadow government, in implementing a whole-of-nation approach to crush an insurgents force instead of addressing the historic roots that generated the armed conflict. Another key element is Red Tagging. Palagay naman natin, si Sister Elenita is most familiar about this. It has become a de facto state policy. Pag nilagay na yung pangalan mo sa posters, social media, to demonize, dehumanize activists as a hate target, ayan, markado ka na for outright arrests, even murder. In this regard, as I have stated in many forums, the Duterte government and its inheritor, the Marcos Jr. government, have a lot of blood in its hands because, bakit? Every victim of extrajudicial execution, like June Fernandez, Randall Echaniz, Benito and Wilma Chamson, and every victim of enforced disappearance, like Dexter Capuyan, Bazul de Jesus, Steve Abua, should have been a political prisoner. Now, ano pa yung isa pang plank dun sa kanilang legal infrastructure of repression? Ito yung weaponization of laws through filing of trumped-up non-bailable charges. So we have the Anti-Terrorism Act, with its elastic definition of terrorism and its twin law on terrorism financing to freeze bank accounts of political targets like the CPA, and even in the case of my imprisoned husband, yung kanyang human rights compensation sa land bank was frozen, although nagmula ito sa kanyang pagiging biktima ng torture at saka political imprisonment noong panahon ng martial law. Sumulat ako kay Ben Jokno, but look, where is Ben Jokno now? The ATA bolsters the manipulation of laws such as illegal possession of firearms and explosives that are used to plant evidence, and heinous crimes like murder. Ngayon, may bago pa sila, human trafficking. Ibig sabihin, pag nahuli ka at may kasama kang mga minors or marami kayo, ang pwedeng ihabla ngayon sa iyo ay human trafficking. Ngayon, meron nang umabot na ng 74 political prisoners who have been wrongfully convicted in rush trials or with marked lack of due process. Some of them have been imprisoned for over 25 or 27 years, even longer than Nelson Mandela. Ngayon, isa pa, doon sa kanilang legal infrastructure ay yung patuloy na paglulupil sa mga bilanggong politika kahit nakakulong na sila. May mga natatanggap tayong mga reports na sa loob ng kulungan, nag-hold sila ng mga NTF-LCAC sponsored seminars. Kaya kawawa ka, nakakulong ka, pwede kang targeting pa rin dun sa loob. And for 4 years, the women political prisoners in Camp Karingal were locked up inside their cell 24/7. Solitary confinement ito na ipinagbabawal ng Mandela Rules or the UN Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners. In addition, activist couples are kept in prolonged detention, although during martial law, nare-release kung nahuli yung mag-asawa, yung babae i-release. Kung no less than Julie De Lima was released during the time of the Marcos dictatorship. What is the reason why there are 26 political prisoner couples now? Ngayon, hindi lang yan. May mga entire families, gaya ng nabanggit ko, no? Magkakapatid, mag-asawa, anak na nakakulong. Kinafemia, halimbawa yan, asawa, kapatid, dalawang kapatid niya. Tapos si Tess Abaratigues sa CIW, yung kanyang son-in-law na UP Fine Arts. Magaling nitong artist, si JP Versosa, nakakulong kasama ng kanyang kasawa si Grace. Nasa summer sila. Tapos, marami din ang tinatawag nating accidental victims of political arrest. Malas ka. Kung tulad ka, halimbawa ni Reyna May Nasino, isang halimbawa, nahuli siya, pero ang target talaga ay yung bayan campaign coordinator noong 2019, pero lahat sila ay hinuli pa rin. Si Virginia at si Alberto Villamor na nagbigay lamang ng sanctuary sa asawang kong civil hanggang ngayon ay nakakulong pa rin. Kahit ang OPAP noon sa kay head ng Government Peace Panel, si Bebot Bello, sabi niya, yung mga riders or political arrest should be released. Ngayon, noong April 2020, ang kapatid, nag-file kami ng petition sa Supreme Court appealing for the release on humanitarian grounds of the medically vulnerable to the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly the very elderly, very sick, pregnant, and nursing mothers like Reyna May Nasino. Ano nangyari? Wala noon hanggang ngayon, not one political prisoner has been freed out of a campaign. And 5 political prisoners have died during this pandemic despite appeals and court motions for their humanitarian release. Pero, in stark contrast, meron tayong nakikitang very important prisoners o yung tinatawag natin mga VIP. Next na, no, Leo? Sino yung mga yan? Sina Joseph Estrada, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, they were accused and charged with plunder and corruption, yet enjoyed frequent furloughs. Christmas, birthday, graduation, labas-pasok yan sa kulungan. Ngayon, no less than the mother of the sitting president, Imelda Marcos, was allowed to escape imprisonment despite conviction for 77 years for the high crime of plunder and corruption. O ngayon, nakikita natin, prison conditions. Totoo to, no? Kasi yung mga political prisoners natin na i-experience ito, kahit may sakit at matanda ka na, hindi ka pa rin makakalabas, at 20% na bumubuo ng kasalukuyang population ay dahil sa pointless drug war ni Duterte. Kaya tumaas siya, yung bilang niya ng 215,000, resulting in a congestion rate of about 300%. Ano yung ibig sabihin niya? Kung 10 lamang kayo, dapat sa isang selda, titriple yan, aabot yan ng 300. Naranasan niya ni Vic noon din nila yan sa Karingal, hindi ka pwedeng matulog ng nakatihayang ganito. Kailangan naka-sideways ka. Pag umihi ka, pagbalik mo, wala ka ng sleeping space. Ngayon, yung mga iba, kailangan, they have to take turns sleeping. Kakagaling ko lang sa CIW. Ang sabi sa akin, sa CIW, ni isang higaan, wala sila, pati sa mga political prisoners. So I was very worried for the condition of Cleofe Lagtapot, who was brought there. Ang mangyayari sa iyo, maglalatag ka lang, kaya bumili kami ng puzzle mat para sa mga political prisoners dahil wala kang mahiligan. Matutulog ka na malamig ang likuran mo. Kaya ano yung point natin dito? The UN standard minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners, both for political and lalo na for common prisoners, are routinely violated. 1. Prescription against solitary confinement, torture, corporal punishment, and degrading strip search. Alam nyo ba na sa mga preso ngayon, binabatukan, sinisipa, pinapalo, at commonplace lang yan. Ngayon, yung nabanggit ko na, walang adequate sleeping facilities, sanitary and hygiene, healthcare, food and clean drinking water, access to books and newspapers. Nabalitaan ko, nakakapagtaka na bakit hanggang ngayon si Ben Quilor ay hindi nakakabasa o walang access sa mga dyaryo sa kulungan. Itanong natin sa sarili natin, bakit hinayaan yan ng ASEM, okay, at ng mga ibang grupo? Yung 70 daily meal allowance, insufficient as it is pared down further by corruption to around 39 pesos. Forced fees, babayaran mo, parang ka lang makakuha ng higaan o ng tarima. Babayaran mo rin para lang magluto at babayaran mo rin kung meron kang bisita. Kaya kung meron kang 10 bisita, i-multiply mo yan. Depende dun sa isa-set na rate ng mga prison administration sa kulungan. Tapos, lahat ng bibilin mo, kailangan dumaan yan sa co-op. Ngayon, alam naman natin na ang mahal ng presyo sa mga co-op, kaya problema yan lagi. Tapos, patuloy pa rin, pero nilalabanan namin yan, yung pag-mash ng food, pagkatapos yung pagbukas na kahit oatmeal, asukal, kape, shampoo, toothpaste, bubuksan nila yan lahat. Tapos yun, inuulit ko, struggle yan, kahit sanitary napkins, bawal ipasok. Ngayon, sa kapatid, pero sabi nga natin, kailangan tayong lumaban, and truth and justice cannot be forever silence. After nearly a hiatus of 24 years, on June 15, 2019, the martial law organization of Kapatid is back to serve as a voice for political prisoners. And we have made headway in our general objectives. Number 1, to work for the release of political prisoners beyond free committees to support the nameless and the faceless. Babalikan ko itong mga yan. 2, promote the basic rights and welfare of political prisoners, including ensuring proper legal assistance as well as humane treatment and adequate medical care. 3, build the broadest support for political prisoners here and abroad through information, education, welfare and services, organization and campaign, and national and international solidarity. And 4th, move for affirmative action and reforms in relation to laws, policies, instrumentalities that violate human rights and breed political prisoners. Ngayon, 20 minutes lang yung binigay na time sa akin. Gusto ko ngayon gamitin itong opportunity na ito na mag-share sa inyo ano na ang nagawa ng Kapatid beyond media attention, and because of tulak ng tulak, kasi yan ang talagang kailangan mo gawin eh. Ngayon, gusto ko lang sabihin na dito may mga kasama tayo na nagmula sa Kapatid noong panahon ng martial law. Pwede kayong tumayo sina Tolitz, sina Dinapo, tapos sina Tolitz noong 1978 to 1918, kasama sila sa paglulunsad ng kapatid noong panahon na yon. Kasama natin ngayon yung mga ibang binanggong politikano, sina Judy, at dito, sina Carol, pero hindi ko lang alam kung naka-organize ng kapatid during their time. Ngayon, bakit ito mahalaga? Kasi ang kapatid, binuhay ito natin para lumabas tayo sa orientasyon ng free committees. Okay, ang free committees, tama yan. Pero for every one free committee, there are 20 political prisoners who are nameless and faceless and have no free committee to answer for them. This is why in NBP Bilibid, walang sumasalo, walang pagkain na pumapasok. Kaya ngayon, napilitan tayo na pumasok, magbigay nung panahon ng pandemya. Ngayon, noong 2019, sa mga ilang major breakthroughs, pero ito, constant struggle ito. Nung una yun, no, through direct engagement and lobby work and dialogues, I am a strong believer in this. Hindi tayo pwede ganitong forum lang or one-time activity. We have to go beyond this. In fact, ako, no, nung sinabi ko dito, kina-Abby, pasensya kayo ha, kasi, well, senior na ako, kaya I'm very impatient and very angry, kasi ang konti ng tulong na nabibigay sa dami ng bilanggong politikal. Ngayon, at least, no, noong October, we are at least proud to say na because of direct engagement, lobby work, nagpapasalamat kami, particularly sa tulong na binigay ng makabayan at ng bayan muna. Na-lift ang NBP lockdown noong October 2019 at na-stop din namin sa pakikipag-usap direct sa taas, sa BJMP. Gusto nilang i-dismantle yung buong political prisoners wing sa Bikutan na panahon pa nung mga nakulong dito, kahit ako, no, na meron ng political prisoners sa Bikutan kasi sabi nga nila wala namang political prisoners. Kaya patuloy pa rin itong ganitong struggle. From 20 to 22, natulak namin yung organized tsaka regularization ng paabot para sa NBP at saka sa mga ibang mga jails ng panahon ng pandemya. Nag-file din kami ng humanitarian petition for the release of the medically vulnerable PDLs. Ang nagbigay ng mukha nito si Reyna May Masino, si Baby River. Ngayon, nagdulot ito ngayon ng institutional gain para sa kapatid, para sa struggle ng political prisoners, at para sa lahat natin through the writ of kalayaan. Kaya hinihiling namin yung suporta ninyo na samahan nyo kami na pag punta tayo sa Supreme Court, Department of Justice, sana ay makasama nyo kami ulit. Ngayon, nagpasimula din ito nung tinatawag kong prompt action. Ano yung ibig sabihin niyan? Nung panahon ng pandemic, kung maaalala ninyo, bawal ang malalaking grupo